Dear Diary, today is the last day of winter. I'm more than ready to greet the spring, but before I do, I need to tell you about the worst winter of our lives. We stepped into December with clear intentions, healthy bodies, and happy minds. On the second day of this month, we got the best news of our lives, something we have been anticipating for a while. I was pregnant. We were happy. We were excited about what the future held for us. We both wanted to become mom and dad. However, as the weeks passed, I was getting more and more worried that I might not be pregnant anymore. People tried telling me not to worry, that everything was okay, and that I did not need to feel extreme pregnancy symptoms to be pregnant. However, on the New Year's Eve, I decided that it was a good idea to go to the hospital to check if everything was all right. After 4 hours of waiting in the emergency room, I was finally checked, and for the first time, I got to see my little baby and his beating heart in the monitor. It was only 12 millimeters long, but I did not think much of it. It was beautiful. A few days later, I had an ultrasound appointment that I had booked weeks ago. There was no real need for it anymore, but we wanted James to see the baby too, so we decided to attend. We were so excited to go and see our baby. We did not know that that day our hearts were going to get broken. As the doctor looked in the monitor, she remained silent. Eventually, I had to ask her, "Is everything okay?" To make matters more tense, we did not speak Italian, and she did not speak English, so communication was painfully slow. She pointed at the monitor and said, "This is your baby, but I cannot find the heartbeat." My heart sank. I looked at James. He was in shock. Neither of us had expected this. I did not believe her and asked her to check again. She confirmed. I remember myself getting dressed and walking out of the doctor's office. We walked through town as we had parked quite a way away. I was floating more than walking, in complete disbelief. I had always feared this, but never thought it was actually going to happen to me. We drove straight to the hospital. After another 4 hours of waiting, I was finally checked and the diagnosis was confirmed. No one seemed to be bothered about it though. The nurse just asked me, "Is this your first miscarriage?" It felt cruel at the time. I was told to come back a week later for a medical miscarriage management as a day patient in the hospital, which meant I was going to get oral medicine which will induce an abortion, and the gestation sac will be expelled with the help of contractions. It was a tough wait. It is hard to sit and wait for 7 days for something like that to happen. Our families and friends were our greatest support. I'm glad that we did not conform to the common advice of not telling anyone about pregnancy until the second trimester. Yes, it was heartbreaking telling the bad news, but it gave us a chance to share when otherwise we would not have. As a result, we received love, care, and support when we most needed it. Eventually, 7 days have passed and James took me to the hospital. Due to coronavirus, he was not allowed to stay by my side. It was hard on both of us. I did not really know how much James worried about me until after I got checked out. I shared a single room with a couple different ladies throughout the day, which was both a curse and a blessing. On one side, I had someone to talk to, through Google Translate of course, but on the other side, I really wanted my privacy. Going through a miscarriage is not the prettiest of things. 9 hours after coming to the hospital, I was told that my baby was gone and I could now go home. The doctor was pretty positive and said that I did not need to come back for a follow-up. Just wait for my first period in about 4 weeks. I was quite relieved. Having been in the hospital so many times now, including 5 draws of blood in 2 weeks' time, I was quite happy to retire to my own home and recover from what already was a traumatic and draining experience. We did not really know what to expect when we got home though. I was told the worst was over. I took painkillers and medicine to create contractions, which makes sure that all the tissue is expelled safely 3 times a week. As the days went on, the pain got quite intense. I was dreading taking the contraction pills. They were making me so ill. I was quite out of it, so it was hard to trust my judgment on how I was feeling. James was trying to help, but he did not really know how, or I wasn't listening to him. It was getting quite tense, and 5 days after being discharged from the hospital, I broke down. That made us realize that we needed to go back to the hospital. Once again, after a long wait, I finally went through the doors of the emergency room. I did not think there was anything worse that could happen. I'll say you the details of what happened next, but that was the worst pain I have ever experienced in my life. It turns out I had a clot stuck in my cervix, which the nurses removed there and then without any pain medication. I have never been in so much pain and so unable to do anything about it. Tears were running down my face as I was breathing heavily in panic. It took about a minute or so, but it was the worst minute of my life. Again, the nurses did not seem to be bothered about it at all. This was the moment when I wished James was there with me the most. In the next 5 minutes, one of the nurses asked if I wanted any painkillers. I would have said yes to anything then. I sat in the adjacent room, letting the panic pass and painkillers kick in. James was finally allowed to come in and give me the jacket. I'm not sure what he saw on my face when he stepped into the room. After a quick hug, he was asked to leave again. In the next few days, my body started recovering. Apart from a few minor discomforts, such as itchy skin on my lower back and thighs, sensitivity to hot water, and dry skin, my body has recovered well. My mind is a different story, though. Every now and then, I discover new ways this experience impacted me. Only recently I realized that I am now suffering from a mild PTSD related to that last procedure in the hospital. It comes at specific times and in specific situations, and we are both learning ways of coping with it. Also, I can feel my depression creeping in on some days, which really scares me. But I'm trying not to fall down that hole. James is supporting me by reminding me of all the ways I can help myself, and my parents are there for me too. I guess I have now reached the point where I am ready to share my story with you in hopes that it will aid me in my healing. Thank you for listening. Maybe you or your partner are also dealing with the aftermath of pregnancy loss. They say that, sadly, it is common. So now that you heard about the worst winter we have ever lived through, I'm ready to say goodbye to it and welcome spring into our home. I pray that this spring brings recovery, strength, love, and hope for us and for you. Kristina. I want some cocoa, didn't I?